All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is just a quick overview of Adobe InDesign. So we're going to be going over some of the stuff we went over in class, but just wanted to give you a chance to have a video to kind of walk you through the steps in case you get lost or want to go back. So we created a new file. If you weren't here yesterday, you're going to want to do this. Otherwise, you should see your file right there. And we choose print. So the first thing we're going to do is use the text tool to create a text box and type in our name. And we're going to select that text by just clicking on it 4 times fast or highlighting it. And I want you to change the font size to 72 and pick a font that you like. You notice that it may not fit. It might be cut off and it might go on 2 lines, and that's okay. We'll worry about that later. The next thing we're going to do is go to our selection tool. Now, this is the selection tool we're going to use the entire time. Don't use the direct selection tool. Make sure you use this one. You can always get there by hitting the escape key on your keyboard, which is in the very top left corner. So I'm going to resize this text box and just kind of move it around so it touches both sides of the margins of the page. And it all fits on one line. Now, if yours doesn't, and it has a hyphenation, go ahead and just hit enter. And it'll put the second word on a separate line. You might have to make your text box bigger, though. Oh, mine disappeared completely. Let me see what I did wrong. There we go. I don't know why it happened. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to center this, and you do that by just going over here to paragraph on the right under your properties and centering it. We'll do that to both lines. You can also just select the entire text box with the selection tool and do it, and it'll do everything in the text box. Next, we're going to change the font color. So click on the font 4 times fast to select it. It's not working because it's 2 lines. Just select it by dragging. And we're going to choose a different color. I'll make mine blue, and I'll give it a black stroke by clicking on the stroke. If you want to make your stroke thicker, you can do that as well. All right, now I'm going to add a background. So I'm going to use the rectangle tool, which I can get to by pushing M on the keyboard, and making a rectangle that goes all the way past the margins over the entire page. As soon as you create the rectangle tool, go right over here to the fill and fill it in. Your words disappeared because they're on a different layer. So we're going to go to our layers panel. We're going to take our rectangle and stick it over here on the bottom so that the words are on top and the rectangle's underneath it. If you don't see those, make sure you click on this little bracket next to layer 1 so that they pop up. Next, I'm going to lock the rectangle layer so that I don't accidentally move it. And I'm going to put some image frames. Rectangle frame tool. I'll just do 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go on the internet and we're going to paste some images in here. So let me pull up my web browser. And for some reason, it's not pulling up. So I might have to minimize this program with this minus right here. And remember, you can always get right back into it by just clicking on the program and it pops right back up. And I'm going to search for a website called Bing Images, which is the website that we use to find our images instead of Google Images. There's reasons for that. Just trust me, it's going to work out better. And I want you to, you're going to be designing a page about yourself, so you can look up things that you enjoy, like a movie you like, a book you've read, something that you are into. So let's see, a book that I really like. I like the Lord of the Rings books. I know, I'm a nerd, whatever. So I'm going to click on this. And for some reason that's, oh, I'm in shopping. I got to go down here to the images. And I'll click on this one. Make sure you, before we do that, let's make sure we have a filter on to search for image size extra large. Remember the filter button's right here, and then image size extra large. And then I come down here and I want to make sure I have a really high resolution image. Copy image, go back to InDesign with this button, And then I'm going to select one of these. Make sure you got the selection tool out, not the that you're not still on this tool. Make sure that they're selected and they got those squares around them. Right click, paste into. You'll notice that the image is kind of not really in the frame. I don't know why they can't figure this out, but what you're going to do is just simply go over here to frame fitting and click on that first button and it'll fit right inside there. Notice though how part of it's cut off. So click on that circle and you'll see the actual image inside the frame. I need to move this down a little bit. Still not the best framing, so I might have to, let me just click off of that real quick and come back on. I might have to make my frame a little bit bigger. You don't want your frame to be bigger than the image, so if you see that empty space, that's not good. But if you need to resize it and then click on the circle, you can move the actual image where it needs to be. But make sure you don't move it so that it cuts off, it leaves the frame. Make sure it stays inside the frame. And maybe I'll just pull that over a little. Okay, let's try that again. So next thing is a movie. What's a movie that I like? My favorite movie is The Royal Tenenbaums. If you've heard of it, you're awesome. And I like this picture right here. So I'm going to click on it. It's not a great picture. The resolution's kind of low. Let's try this one. Right click, copy image. And this one's kind of long, so maybe I'll put it here. I might even make this a little bit bigger first. Right click, make sure I see how I have this one selected because it's got the dots. Now I'm going to right click, paste into, and then I'm going to click on the frame fitting button to get it to fit. See if I can get that, just slide over a little bit so it's a little bit more even. And there it is. Last one. What's another thing I'm into? I like hiking. So, why did that get small? I don't like that. Let's try this one. Copy image. Select this box, paste into, and frame fitting. You can move these frames and the pictures come with it, but be careful. If you click on this and you move it, you're just moving the image, not the frame. They're two different things. This is the image, and then if you double click, you get back to the frame itself. So that fits nicely. I like that. If I want to move it around, I can. But again, I don't want to move it up or down because then I have empty space there. Let's get one where we can see the mountains a little bit better. That's kind of cool. Okay. Next, if you want to resize these, you'll notice you're not really shrinking them. You're just, I mean, you are, but you're also shrinking the image. If you want to resize them with the image, you got to hold down Shift and Control at the same time. What happens if I just do Control? Yeah, don't do that. Shift and Control. And then you can resize them. But only do that by the corners. Otherwise, this will happen. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. If you're holding both down Shift and Control, it's fine. So let's next, we're going to put some headings here. So I'm just going to say my favorite books. My favorite books are The Lord of the Rings. Then we're going to do another one here. I love hiking. My favorite movie is Royal Tenenbaums. And that's about it. Now, you're going to need to do 4 to 6 of those with headings. And I could spice these up a little bit. Maybe I'll make them, another color like that. And maybe I'll choose another font. One that maybe goes well with that one. So I'm going to go with, I'm really liking this, just go with Bebas. And then I want you to, make sure you know how to resize these things so you get them to fit. Let's make that a little bit bigger. And if it's going to be 2 lines, you got to make it big enough so it fits. And maybe I'll center the text. Okay. So I want this one to look like this one. So I'm going to have to look at, okay, I use Bebas Noe 20 point font. So let's change that to 20 and go to Bebas. And let's do the same thing here. Bebas. Oh, and I forgot the color. You just type in 20. And it's blue, and it's blue. All right, so you got to do 4 to 6 of those. You got to have background. You got to have some words on there. What is it going to look like when it's done? Hit W, and you can see. That gets rid of all the lines, and you can see how it's going to look all nice. Careful, if you hit W while you're here, you're just going to write a W. So you have to be on the selection tool. You can always get there by hitting the escape key, top left. Then W, and there you go. So fill it in with 4 to 6, 4 or more images, and you can find them. If you can somehow get them on Instagram onto your computer and you want to have pictures of you, that's great. Just tell us a little bit about yourself with this one, right?